You look at your phone. Nothing. You turn the screen off, put it face down, and tell yourself you are not going to check again. Then, almost immediately, you check again. Still nothing. The strange part is that nothing has happened. No bad news has arrived. No rejection. No answer. No final result. Just silence. But somehow, the silence does not feel empty. It feels crowded. Your mind starts filling the space. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they are angry. Maybe the result is bad. Maybe the message came through somewhere else. Maybe refreshing one more time will make the future arrive faster. Waiting can feel ridiculous from the outside. You are sitting in a chair. Your body is safe. The clock is doing what clocks do. But inside, waiting can feel like being suspended over several possible lives at once. And that is the first clue. Waiting does not hurt only because time is passing slowly. It hurts because your brain is trying to predict something it cannot yet know, prepare for something it cannot yet act on, and control something that has not happened. Your brain is not built to sit inside the present moment like a stone in a garden. It is built to guess. Every second, it asks quiet questions. What is about to happen? Is this safe? Is this important? Should I move closer? Step back? Speak? Hide? Answer? Run? Relax? Most of the time, you do not notice this prediction machine working. When you walk through a doorway, hear a familiar voice, or wait for a light to change, your brain uses the past to prepare the next few seconds. Prediction is useful because life rarely gives you perfect information. But waiting creates a special problem. It gives you just enough information to care, and not enough information to settle. A message has been sent, but not answered. An application has been submitted, but not decided. A test has been taken, but not returned. The future has been opened, but not revealed. So your brain does what it was designed to do. It starts generating possibilities. That helps when there is something to do. If dark clouds appear, you bring an umbrella. If a car swerves, you step back. If a friend sounds upset, you choose your words carefully. But some waiting periods do not give you a useful action. You cannot speed up the email. You cannot force the doctor to call. You cannot make someone reply by staring harder at the screen. So the prediction system keeps running. But the action system has nowhere to go. That stuck feeling is one reason waiting can become so painful. Researchers have found that not knowing can sometimes be more stressful than knowing something unpleasant. In one experiment, people played a task in which they might receive a mild electric shock. The most stressful moments were not when the shock was certain. They were when the outcome was uncertain. In other words, the brain was not only reacting to pain, it was reacting to maybe. That word, maybe, is small. But psychologically, it is enormous. Maybe keeps the door open. Maybe means you cannot relax, because good news is still possible. Maybe means you cannot grieve, because bad news is not confirmed. Maybe means you cannot plan, because the map has not loaded. So the mind hovers. This is why a clear answer, even a disappointing one, can sometimes bring relief. The answer may hurt, but at least it collapses the possibilities. The mind no longer has to keep 10 futures alive at the same time. Before the answer, you are not dealing with one reality. You are rehearsing many. There is a name for one part of this experience: dread. Dread is the unpleasant feeling of anticipating something bad before it happens. It is not the same as the bad event itself. It is the cost of waiting for the bad event, imagining it, bracing for it, and carrying it ahead of time. This is why people sometimes say, "I just want to know." They are not saying the outcome does not matter. They are saying that uncertainty has become its own burden. Some research on dread has found that certain people would rather get an unpleasant experience over with sooner then wait for a milder one later. That does not mean everyone prefers pain to uncertainty. Human beings are more complicated than that. But it shows something important. Waiting is not passive. Waiting can have a price. And your body may pay part of that price before anything actually happens. Your heart may beat a little faster. Your attention may narrow. Your stomach may tighten. Your mind may become strangely alert to tiny signals. A typing bubble, a delayed flight update, a sound in the hallway, a number moving in a queue, a notification that turns out to be completely unrelated. Each tiny cue seems to matter because your brain is trying to reduce uncertainty. It is searching the environment for evidence. Modern life gives us many cues that look meaningful, but are not. A person was online 3 minutes ago. The message says, delivered, but not read. The tracking page says, processing. The application portal says, under review. These fragments invite interpretation, but they rarely give closure. So the mind starts building stories from crumbs. Maybe delivered means they saw it. Maybe under review means something is wrong. Maybe no update means bad news. Maybe no update means nothing at all. This is where waiting becomes mentally noisy. The outside world is quiet, but the inside world is full of unfinished calculations. If you like hidden explanations for ordinary feelings, this channel is built for that. Another piece makes waiting hard. Control. Stress is often easier to tolerate when you can do something about it. Even a small action can change the texture of a situation. You can study. You can apologize. You can leave early. You can make a backup plan. But many painful waits happen after the action window has closed. You already sent the message. You already took the test. You already had the interview. You already clicked submit. Now the outcome is moving somewhere beyond your reach. That loss of control can make time feel heavier. You are not just waiting for information. You are waiting for permission to know which version of your life you are now in. This is why uncertain waiting can make people do odd little rituals. Refreshing the inbox, replaying the conversation, checking the tracking number, reading old messages for tone, opening the same app again and again, as if repetition could become influence. These behaviors can look irrational, but emotionally they make sense. They are attempts to turn helpless waiting into action. The trouble is that they often feed the loop. Every check briefly promises relief. Then, if nothing has changed, the uncertainty returns. Sometimes it returns sharper than before, because now you have one more piece of evidence to interpret. No answer yet. Still pending. Still silent. Still not there. The brain treats the gap as information, even when the gap may mean almost nothing. This is why waiting for a text can feel different from waiting for a train. If the sign says the train arrives in 12 minutes, you may be annoyed, but your mind can settle around a number. If there is no sign, no explanation, and no sense of whether the train is coming at all, every minute becomes a question. Uncertain waits tend to feel longer than known waits because they demand more mental monitoring. You are not only spending time, you are spending attention. And attention is not free. When a wait is unexplained, your mind tries to explain it. When a wait is unbounded, your mind keeps measuring it. When a wait matters, your mind keeps returning to it. That is why distraction sometimes works, but not always. A weak distraction leaves enough space for worry to keep talking in the background. You watch a show, but half your mind is still standing beside the mailbox. Stronger relief often comes from something absorbing: a task, a conversation, a game, a walk, or a creative activity that gives your attention a place to land. Not because it solves uncertainty, but because it stops the prediction machine from owning the room. Still, there is a limit to how much we should turn waiting into a productivity challenge. Sometimes waiting hurts because something genuinely matters. You are allowed to care. The goal is not to become a perfectly calm person who never worries. That person probably does not exist. The goal is to understand what the pain is made of. Part of it is prediction. Part of it is uncertainty. Part of it is dread. Part of it is the loss of control. And part of it is the strange way your mind keeps trying to finish a sentence that life has not finished writing. There is also an important difference between ordinary painful waiting and anxiety that takes over your life. If waiting regularly feels unbearable, disrupts sleep, damages relationships, or makes daily life hard to manage, that is not something you have to solve alone. Support from a qualified professional can matter, but for many ordinary waits, the feeling itself is not a personal failure. It is a prediction system stuck in a hallway. It is a mind holding several possible endings at once. And when the answer finally arrives, notice what often happens. Even before you fully process the news, something in you shifts. The cloud of possibilities collapses. The screen is no longer a portal to every outcome. It is just a screen. The clock is no longer stretching. It is just counting. You may be happy. You may be disappointed. You may need time to adjust. But the particular pain of waiting changes because the brain can finally stop asking, "What if?" It can begin asking, "What now?" That is why waiting can feel so painful. Not because nothing is happening, but because your brain is carrying too many possible somethings. Subscribe if you like finding the hidden machinery behind ordinary human moments. And if waiting is one way your mind gets stuck in the future, embarrassing memories are one way it gets stuck in the past.